So should we start?
Yeah, I think so. Never gonna give you up. Yeah, let's keep it at that. Yeah, it's just mellow, you know? Good.
Yeah.
Never gonna give. No, it has everything.
Has everything you need.
Has everything, yeah. Good bass lines.
Until you find out that someone's running your mouth.
I think it would be, like I mentioned, vanilla. It's kind of, I mean, it's not, I'm not reinventing the wheel, that's the whole point. Vanilla, but with like some kind of a personal twist, like whatever you like, maybe tickle, something that tickles. So in the ice cream as well, something that tickles, you know, you. But it's vanilla with a tickling taste.
Nice.
So much regret.
Some years ago, I was really inspired by Beach House. Yeah, I was using like a keyboard and I wanted to do sort of similar thing, but 2.5 years ago, I just decided it was a decision, a very direct decision to make something more upbeat, but still it was kind of like a process to do that. The project is about now is more about simple songs, very much I structured with my upcoming release 10 songs. I structured everything. Basically, it follows a structure of verse, chorus. I did experiment with some also ambient looping sort of stuff, but it wasn't really like a main project. So this one is more, you know, kind of like welcoming, funny. I want to kind of also incorporate a little bit of kind of sort of comedy, but I don't want to do stand-up comedy per se. I really, from the start, I was all about actually not judging anything that comes out, even if it's a bit silly. So it's kind of like balancing in a way, right? So on one hand, I set a goal in a way to make it more lightweight and more heartwarming, but at the same time, I don't want, if something is a little bit more melancholic, I don't try to suppress it. And another kind of design, let's say, of entire thing that I'm going for is to not have anything between me and the audience. It was sort of a challenge for me. You know, it's not like easier or simpler to do one or the other, but it's just something I missed, I think, myself in listening to other artists around. I mean, I'm all for, you know, melancholically kind of driven stuff, and I used to actually listen to post-hardcore sort of, and a big influence was Deafheaven, if you ever heard of them, from 2013. They released Sunbather. That was, already heard about them a little bit before, but that was the point where I think also got into shoegaze. So I was really interested in creating that sound. I feel like it's not entirely about stylizing the music. It's not entirely only about music, you know? Because I realize more and more now that I had already a couple of performances happening, it's more about engaging with the audience as well, and it's what you create, the feeling that you create. I think that's where the real work begins. I think I just maybe it was just a low period in my life or something a couple of years back, and I just felt like it's something that I'm missing, you know? It's not it's kind of weird, but it's not the usual thing kind of that I hear when I go to the bar or to the venue. When I came to Berlin in the late 2016, I got into stand-up comedy. Yeah, I was influenced by that because also sometimes there are people actually performing with instruments, just like singing a song on the guitar, which is like a bit funny, you know? So I kind of like want to channel that as well, I feel like, you know?
It takes time to.
It's very easy for me to get away with, you know, doing some kind of really random stuff that just comes up into my head during the time between the songs. I'm going for a very, at this point, kind of a classic approach to writing songs and performing them, you know, and it's set in stone. And that's something I've been thinking and negotiating and thinking how to, because I was thinking I'm gonna use backing tracks more, but then it's so rigid. Yeah, maybe I should manipulate. So it's a whole this rabbit hole. Go around the circle and I come back to the same spot where I realize, well, I just like to perform, and actually each performance, even if you perform the same song, it can be a little bit different. So to tune that up a little bit even more, I really like to have engagement, some kind of engagement, maybe some kind of jokes, maybe some kind of banter. I would love to have a little bit, maybe another person on stage, so we, you know, do some kind of a thing. And obviously, I'm also pretty much influenced by Mark DeMarco for this project, Sumi. But you know, I think his approach is really cool, because he literally, when I saw him live, he had a whole like a comedy kind of routine, I would say. Like they had some jokes with the guys, and it was like then they played like covers for 30 seconds of different songs, you know, just because I'm sort of influenced by that as well, and that's how it came to be.
If you let it come your way.
Just one. All right.
And there's so much love waiting to be had. If you let it.
I think in general with music nowadays, it's a question of how much you want to challenge yourself. By adding other people is just, you know, I'm kind of simulating or like and actually doing a band, because I just like the idea of having other people. In the case of Jesse, we're just good friends. He helped me to record the stuff that I prepared in his house actually, and I used some of his equipment as well. And like we were practicing for him to play drums live, but then I realized, okay, I can. That's another thing. It's kind of like I figured out that, okay, my ethics in this project allow me to have a backing track of drums. And I played last time with loops of drums. It was great. And so we now, I don't know if Jesse was promoted or demoted, but he's going to be on the bass now. Yeah, there is this process of kind of figuring out your own rules, perks and trade-offs to each way of performing, you know. But I'm settling with this one on this, and I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. It's literally anytime you want to do something a little bit more productive, you have to limit yourself. I mean, I'm learning it again and again, usually in a very harsh way, you know, but that's how it is. You want to go through education, you're going to be limited in the amount of free time that you will have, you know. So regarding this project, there are limitations, of course. It was designed actually for the period of time when I was writing. It was designed for me to pump out the tracks that I need. I'm still writing here and there songs now, but I wouldn't say that I'm as productive as I was back then. I couldn't say that. My mom had this cassette of ABBA, like ABBA's greatest hits, and I really, really liked that cassette. And I listened on this kind of janky boombox kind of a thing, and I really, really liked that. I think that was a big influence, and I think that's what it's very funny, but I think that's what I'm coming back to with my music as well. I just really like the way everything was performed in those songs. That's a big memory that I know. And another interesting thing, I think it was before I started to go to music school. One day, I think I was like 5 years old or something, I was sort of going for a nap, and in between the state of wakefulness and sleep, I heard classical music, very beautiful classical music. And I sort of woke up and I was like, whoa, you know, it's very interesting. And I think that was also the moment where I was just interested in sound and how we can generate it, you know. And yeah, the more I learn about it, the more I realize that it's not only about sound waves, but it's sort of like patterns that guide us to understand our surrounding and ourselves. So I find that interesting, and I think it was connected to that memory as well. Jesse is gonna be on the bass. I'm gonna have some loops of drums playing, so that's something new. I'm really excited about that. Simple songs, you know, sort of I hope to see some smiles, you know, heartwarming, easygoing. Hopefully something that people will remember, you know, some kind of... I really tried to, of course, design the songs to be just a bit catchy as well, you know, sort of having that kind of pop thing. So hopefully that's something to be expected.